Well, it's important because otherwise we're just kind of, swatting flies. I mean, in a room full of flies. That's all we're doing. And if we can't find the places where they're coming in, patching the holes, and putting, bug kill and things like that in the right places, we don't have a chance. So we first of all, we have to have the tools in place which enable us to know what's going on, know where they are. We have to know what our assets are out there that could be infected or could be affected by these things, and we have to be able to monitor on an ongoing basis what the status is. So those are prerequisites to getting proactive. Once you have the prerequisites, then you can start analyzing. And through some of the tools that are available, you can put together tools, and with some really smart people who kind of know patterns, they can identify a problem when it first hits or even before it hits. We can block it, or when it first comes in, we can contain it. We can say, okay, this is affecting this particular component, this particular desktop. We can isolate it, prevent it from happening. So we are making moves in all those directions at the Department of Justice. What I mentioned earlier was the first thing was the Justice Security Operations Center. And that is something which it's not an opt-in, opt-out thing. Every component, all 40 components of the Department of Justice participate in it. It is centrally run, but we have field components who are part of it also. It's just like they're part of the home organization because they're the ones who are experts in their particular applications. And in that we have the basic tools and enterprise tools set up at strategic points around the department to do this kind of ongoing monitoring. And that has paid huge dividends, and it's opened our eyes to what the problem is, how big the problem is. We can measure it. We can know, what the characteristics are, when it hits the most, that kind of thing. Other things that we're doing to become more proactive are, I mentioned earlier, the idea of patching is something that sounds simple, but it's very complex when you're dealing with a heterogeneous environment of 40 different organizations. And getting to the point where we can do that in a more automated fashion, to push out patches and then to have that happen in a more real-time basis, as opposed to very, very asynchronously. The way it worked in the past is we have a policy, of course, we're supposed to be up to date on our patches and we give them X days to do it. We had no mechanism for enforcing that. And frankly, it was almost unenforceable because we didn't have the tools to help them to implement or us to measure whether they did implement. Now we're in the process of implementing those tools that do that. This mobile computing is, kind of overtaking us. A lot of mobile devices. So we had to have ways of encrypting those devices. So we have another project in place that is going to go across the whole department that will enable us to do that. So we've got, and then I also mentioned the TIC initiative. The TIC initiative is very, very important. It's important for everybody, but particularly important to the Department of Justice. When the TIC initiative was first announced, the stated goal for the federal government was to get down to on the order of 30, 40, 50 points of interest in the civilian side of the federal government. We had scores, many multiples more than that just in the Department of Justice. So we had to figure out, okay, how do we do it? It's an architectural issue and a lot of planning and investment in order to make it happen, as well as coordination. So all those things are underway at the Department of Justice. But I would say central to it all is this concept of a operations center which looks at security on an ongoing basis. One of our panelists here talked about the importance of the assurance people being hooked up with the operations people. That's exactly what the Justice Security Operations Center does. It makes assurance operational. As we're running our systems and our applications, we're monitoring, we're analyzing, and we're assessing, and we're reacting.
Thank you.